All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to America now here, continuing the Pro League. Just after the European broadcast has ended, we're going to be going into our first North American matchup for the night, which is going to be Splyce taking on the guys from Winterfox. My name is Blue. Joining me here this evening is Mega Man. Moses is still on his way back from Barcelona.
Slacking.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this upcoming match here, Mega Man?
This should be a pretty good matchup, I actually believe. Both of these teams sort of struggling a little bit in the Pro League division. Splyce is off at an 0-2 record. Winterfox hasn't even played any of their matches yet, but they've had some struggles in the past couple of months with some of the lower tier North American teams. I believe that they just played in the, was it the Malmo qualifier or... Was it IEM qualifier or something like that? And they got beat by like an IM team.
They passed on last weekend's qualifiers, if I remember correctly, to play in a local LAN where they actually won that.
They did win that, yep.
But it was at the IEM qualifiers where they got knocked out pretty early by a pretty unknown team. So
yeah,
Winterfox not off to the hottest start this season, it would appear.
Not at all. Their 2016 has been a pretty lackluster beginning, to say the least, with them. And then adversely, on the other side, you have Splyce, team that came in second place at the MLG Minor, who actually might be getting a spot at the MLG qualifier, depending on how things pan out because of the visa issues with Mongols. And then a couple of other teams might not be able to make it. I think that they actually extended the invitation to Chiefs on the off chance that they're going to be able to make it there. But if they can't, I believe the invitation is going to get extended to Splyce, which would be cool to see. But recent matches for them, they haven't really been stacking up either. Their first two matches of this season were against Optic, and they got a grand total of 10 rounds and 2 maps. So not really boding all that well, especially considering that Splyce knocked Optic Gaming out of the MLG Minor last month. So tough.
Yes, Splyce, sort of off of my observations and even from what we've seen of them in the past, this team has gone through many a roster change and many a organizational change. These guys were known, I think most people would have recognized them as Threes Up. Then that sponsorship got dropped and they became known as Dogman. There was like 2 other orgs that they were under before that as well. But it's sort of been a core of like 3 to 4 players here. Jason R, Davey, and Abe, I think have been together here for a decent amount of time. One of the other guys, I think, too, here.
Arya.
Yeah, Arya. Arya's still pretty new to this roster, if I remember correctly. He only joined up towards the end of last year, but there's sort of been a lot of players shifting on and off of this roster, and because of that, we haven't really seen this team have a whole lot of time to congeal as one single unit and sort of elevate themselves to the next level, and they've just been pretty hit or miss with a lot of their online matches. However, Garrett, who is jumping into their coach, some people may recognize his name there, is helping these guys out quite a bit, as I had a little bit of a conversation with him at the minor, and at least for LAN matches, they're looking pretty promising. So as you were talking about, if they do end up getting that spot at the qualifier next weekend, as Chiefs, in my eyes, more than likely won't end up being able to put themselves together because the Chiefs roster, which would get that spot, like doesn't actually exist anymore, as I understand it. I think like 3 or 2 of the players have jumped off it, which would invoke the 3/5 rule, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. So these guys more than likely might actually end up being at that qualifier next week, which again, that'll be another LAN for them to try and prove themselves.
Yeah, and to add fuel on the fire with the Chiefs thing, I actually just saw Havoc, the former Renegades player, put out a tweet that says that even if he came to the minor, he wouldn't be allowed to play in the major because he was previously on Renegades, so he couldn't even help out Chiefs. Or, for that matter, Liquid, who is another team that is actually looking for a 5th for this because of the recent Mo controversy that went down. And talking about the major, actually, there was just an announcement that went out. I don't know if our active viewers in chat have seen this or not, but we can kind of break the news a little bit here that the minor or the majors from now on until further posted are going to feature a prize pool of $1 million. So no more $250,000 prize pools. They're playing for a crisp $1 million.
Yeah, so of course the prize pool getting increased, and we're going into the game now, folks. So with the guys from Winterfox picking up the knife round, they're going to get into their side choice to start off, and more than likely are going to start off on the CT side. And look at that, they flip right over. And we should be going live now, guys, at any moment with the match itself. Winterfox versus Splyce. 2 maps coming up. First one, of course, will be on Cash. I'm actually not sure where we're going for the second one. It's never a straightforward process anymore, as we have the veto system now for this one, so I'll have to check on that a little bit later. But it'll be 2 separate best of ones, and the first one is starting right now, guys, so let's get to it.
Yeah, I'm actually hopping in the server because my game was still updating, but Once I get in there, I'll be able to do so. Nope, never mind. My game crashed. Wrecked.
All right, so
I go hyping up Valve for bumping up the major, and then the game crashes. Thank you, Valve.
We've got some action, though, happening back over here towards middle, with Destiny picking up a nice first kill on a Professor Chaos, but Arya striking back. Now that there's all that CT pressure in middle, though, they do have to hold themselves back, but Arya still doing some more work. He's able to shut down Lex, eliminating him, and that puts the advantage back into Splyce, and then Davey barrels out through the mid garage there. He's able to almost pick up another kill here, shuts down Desi. And now the guys from Splyce, after all of that action towards middle, are going to be in full control of the situation. Winterfox don't know where to position their final two players. Flosic tried to make a push to the back B halls, but he only ends up losing his life. And that only leaves Anger alive in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, he's going to try to fight out this one, but Davey just pushing and aggressively jumping around, switching over from burst fire, going for the knife, but Anger will deny that at least. Picks up one more kill, but it's a 3v1, and he's only got 34 HP. Arya's got that raid boss by. He's got the Tech 9, 13 HP to work with. There was one on top of the generator, but he didn't peek out wide enough to actually see him there. And still looking for this final kill, but Jason R's in a great spot to pick this one up if he didn't move, but that he does. But no kid on Anger, there's really no chance that he's going to be able to walk away from this one. And he doesn't.
So, there you go. Splyce closing things out and picking up their lead to start off the first map of this set here now. And immediately going for the investment. Not taking a lot of rifles here, at least as we can see. Just the 2 AKs and 2 MAC-10s, so they're going to want to try to stack up a bit of money. And there we go, there's the third rifle. So pretty standard buy here with Professor Chaos going for the investment over here now towards a Galil. But for Winterfox as well, taking a pretty light path with their second round. Not going to force up and completely buy out like we see a lot of teams doing. A lot of North American teams now, including Winterfox, of course, have sort of fallen into this sort of strategy where they don't actually invest so heavily in the second round so they can get a much better stack of utility going into the first gun round there. So this time it looks like it's going to be the case. Just the upgraded pistols, not a lot of armor and utility sitting behind it, however.
Pretty heavy harassment going on there in middle as XP3 trying to pick up that Desert Eagle off of Anger's dead body and do some work with it, but they really haven't been able to find much. Jason R is down to 88. I believe that was off of maybe a rogue nade or a spam with the Desert Eagle early on, but not really a whole lot of damage being dealt. Now they're going to be stacked up over here towards the A bomb site. You can see 3 players. They might actually molly out XP3, but he's actually going to take a wide peek here and finds one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are back in live. We do apologize, of course, for the downtime in the stream. A little bit of an emergency popped up there, but thankfully, you haven't really missed all that much action. Right now, it's just been Splyce bulldozing Winterfox.
Yeah, you haven't missed anything at all, actually. Unless you're a fan of Splyce, and then you missed everything. But, if you're a fan of Winterfox, you're probably shaking your head and hanging it low right now, but get to see some aggression towards Squeaky, and they're just going in one by one, and they all end up dead.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now for Winterfox. I would have more to add, but we've been trying to get the stream back up, so I haven't been able to pay too much attention to a lot of the rounds that have been happening. But
they've just been getting beat up all over the map.
That's yeah. I was about to say that's basically what it seems to be. I mean, you can even make guesses just looking at their economy too. There's just so much money for these guys: 12K, 13.2K, 12.1K on Abe. These guys are loaded. In addition to the fact that they're just crushing them right now, so it's not leaving a whole lot of room for Winterfox to try and do anything at all.
Yeah, and the big thing is everybody kind of contributing on this place side. 9, 8, 9, 9, 6 as far as the frag totals are concerned. I did notice Winterfox was able to save a couple of rounds. As you can see, Anger's died 7 out of the now 10 rounds. Lex and XP3 have died 8 out of the 10 rounds. But the big part about this is just it's Winterfox just can't seem to do anything right in this matchup. They just get punished for everything that they try to do, and last round was no exception. They just went one at a time, 3 players pushing into Squeaky. That's, you know, I get that they're on a save, but that's not the way that you trade a kill.
Yeah.
Especially when they knew there was more than one terrorist over there in Squeaky.
All right. Well, we're going to see what they can pull off here in the 11th round now. as we're getting another buy up onto the board here for the CTs this time. But Abe walking up, finds Lex out in the open, but it's a messy spray from him, so Lex is given the chance to fall back behind cover. However, he's sitting right next to his teammate Anger, who's also going to peek back out there and take about 20 or 30 of his HP. Flowsick, though, going crazy, jumping up on top of that little shed there on Highway. He's going to pick up 2 kills, taking down Ari and one more of these guys. Anger finding a third for his team, bringing it down to Davey and Abe now, but Davey picking up a kill with his op. Doesn't realize that Lex is sitting there behind the forklift, but regardless, it's a 2-for-1 trade. Now Abe's going to look to clutch. Nice headshot to take down Lex, and all of a sudden it's him versus XP3. But XP3 has got a perfect angle, and right now Abe is definitely thinking this is going to be coming in from Z instead of where he's looking. However, he does have plenty of time to play this, and the pop flash is going on. That might actually be a little bit short. So yeah, you can see, but XP3 misses the connection, so he's going to have to fall back. And now it's a 1 versus 1, and Abe is going to close things out with the headshot on the XP3. Splyce continue to dominate now at 11-0.
What did I just watch? Okay, so that seemed like it was possibly going to be one of the easiest shots that you can hit with an AWP, and XP3 just chokes it. I don't understand how he didn't hit that, and then the second time that he tried to shoot it looked like he quick switched before he actually pulled the trigger, so little unfortunate there. That should have been around that Winterfox wins. He had the superior positioning, that flash wasn't on the mark, and this time you actually see Lex caught out in the wide open at the top side of mid, and he's going to get caught out and taken down after the trade, so that's rough.
Yeah, he kind of leaves himself out in the open there in mid for way too long, so he's going to end up getting traded down there. With Davey doing some work with his up now, but the guys on Splyce still going to take it a little bit slow after getting the control that they're looking for early on in the round here. Davey inside of A main, watching out for any extra aggression. Arya holding back inside of the cubby in middle. Very little resistance to middle itself here, as Abe is going to walk through the vents and takes down Flowsick. Trying to hold a counter position to take down Abe himself, but that doesn't pay off. And just like that, Davey picks up yet another kill, and they're not even pushing the site. This is the best part. Winterfox are literally just walking right out into the open, so these guys can get these kills back to back to back. So it's now down on XP3, and he's very low at 13 HP. And beyond this, you've just got Anger moving in to support him now, getting a little bit closer towards Z so they can rotate towards either site, but it's more than likely going to be a B push, so they'll be catching this pretty soon.
Yeah, and Arya here just harassing middle, coming out through Z to make sure that they can't save any of the guns, and now XP3 is caught over by truck side. Arya coming up from highway, and this should be a cleanup kill, and it is. So another round on the board for Splyce, 12-0 right now. This is an ass whooping.
A little bit of a harsh way to put it, but I believe so.
What else are you going to call it? A beatdown? A bulldozing?
A WWE SmackDown style. This is like
they're RKO'd all over the map right now.
This is like the first fight where they're trying to introduce a new fighter, and like everybody like boos him. This is like when he's just gotten into the WWE. I don't know if the WWE works, but
this Sunday it's Winterfox versus John Cena.
Winterfox is the new like WWE wrestler who just got in and needs to get like his face pounded in the first fight to get his first day's pay, so that they can see if he can actually act or not.
That's actually an interesting little bit of spam there from Anger. He actually caught a little bit of damage onto Professor Chaos and Abe, but unfortunately, not really enough to write home about, so we'll see how this round pans out. But it is another semi-quasi buy here from the Winterfox side. They picked up some pistols and some armor on a couple of players. Desi, who did pick up a FAMAS into this round. He does have an HE. He's playing from back checkers, but just a really tough spot for Winterfox. They've got no money management whatsoever in this half. Desi's bought all the way down. The rest of them are going to be on 2,000 plus.
Regardless, though, of this being an eco now Splyce, they do this a lot. They're still going to, and it makes sense, of course. They're going to be playing it slow against the eco just to watch out and make sure they're taking the time to check all the angles and hopefully force repositions on Winterfox so they can catch these players out in the open. That's been the key to just finding so many of these free kills from round to round. So taking it slow can definitely lead to some more of that. And they're already going to find Desi working their way in through the vents. But the guys on the A side are going to be quick to start to rotate down to B as they know the take is rolling in here. However, it's only on Flowsick to hold this. He picks up a 1-for-1 trade, shutting down Jason R. That's about it now. The other three not even in this site as of yet, so it's going to be a very rough hold to make this retake happen.
Nice shot from Lex, though. He's going to be able to find that opening kill, and XP3 actually gets in and gets an AK, gets a nice shot onto Abe, so they might be able to make this one happen. It's Davey with the AWP, Lex coming from vents, and unfortunately, Davey's going to miss the shot, so the defuse is going to come out, and Winterfox win it on an eco round victory.
So now they're on the board, and of all the rounds to pull it off on, this is the one, right? The one where they have this, like, just all in force buy because they're just so far behind that they're just buying round after round. And of course, it would end up happening here. So Splyce actually messing up big time there, allowing a lot of those frags to happen. But they've got no reason to worry. They're still up by 11 rounds, and they've got plenty of cash to burn through here. But now they give Winterfox a chance to bounce back a little bit. Ultimately, the highest they're going to get is up to 3 rounds, but still, that's a little bit of momentum, and momentum for North American teams can go a very, very long way.
Yeah, it can, but a reset right here is going to steal that momentum right back away from him. And Splyce is wasting no time getting into the squeaky hallway right now. And it's only Anger to defend A. I mean, he's got Desi over here on highway, very disconnected, but they've already opened up the squeaky door. The smokes and flashes are going to be coming out over towards A. Davey just holding with an off for an A main push, and now they're going to go ahead and barrel on in. Looking for the reverse boost as Zarya. That little bit of spam is over top of the boxes there in mid, but they're going to find their way on in. Flowsick, though, coming up highway. They don't realize that there's 2 players, but look at that. Standing in that Molotov was actually Professor Chaos. He does manage to find Flowsick, but it's XP3, Desi, and Lex to all chime in, and Desi to finish it off. So 2 rounds in a row for Winterfox. If they can close out with the 3rd and win the pistol round, they might be able to swing that momentum like you were talking about.
What did I just say? It worked out great, and now Splyce of just like, this is like NACS right here, the perfect example. They just fall apart after 1 round loss. 11 in a row, or technically I think it was 12 in a row, and then now their sight takes just aren't possible. And what was even better too is they like technically went back to what they were doing before, which was just going for the actual take all at once and trying to overwhelm Winterfox. This was working, but all of a sudden it's not. Winterfox have these big guns now, and we can see Lex and Desi able to hold that A site much better.
You're nuts. But nevertheless, this is an interesting, aggressive angle from Flowsick right underneath the boost, right outside of mid-main. A little bit of spam towards his side, and he could get taken down very easily, but they are making a lot of noise outside of A, so you can see they've got Desi over here by the E-Box playing on highway, and they've got that player at the backside of Quad in Anger as well, so smoke's going to come out. They're going to hit that same bomb site the same way that they did before. The flashes and the smokes come out, and now the push is on.
I think Davey just hit Flowsick through the wall as he was sitting outside in the cubby there on that little area besides it. However, Splyce are going to make some quick entries now, rolling into the A bomb site. This is that overwhelming pressure that we were seeing earlier on in the half. Flowsick trying to respond to this now. He moves in, picks up 2, but he is traded down by Abe. And it leaves everything down to XP3 in a 1 versus 3. Smoked off initially, but it starts to fade away pretty quick. And he's moving pretty fast to try and get in a position to try and catch these guys. He will have his first duel versus Abe now. But Abe not peeking out, not going to give him anything at all to work with. So XP3 is eventually just going to have to push forward here and try to go for it. And that doesn't go very well at all, as Davey's waiting for him just around the corner. Shuts him down pretty quick to make it 13-2 at the end of the half.
Yeah, and again, just a big half there from the Splyce side. So nicely done from them. We'll see if they can do more going into this second half.
Not a whole lot is going to be more than likely we'll end up seeing. But like I said before, we did see a little sort of burst from them at the end of it. But if the performance is anything like what we saw at the beginning of this first half here for the couple of rounds we did get to watch completely, then Winterfox ultimately are just going to get crushed here. They need to have a miraculously different T side. Otherwise, it's going to be Struggle City. And honestly, most of Winterfox's maps, their CT side ends up being the stronger side in most of the situations. So my prospects personally are not looking very good for these guys to try and round a comeback here.
Yeah, agreed. And just really tough spot for him to be in. I mean, 11 rounds the difference. Splyce has so much to work with, and they're on the CT side now. So this could be, you know, the icing on the cake with a pistol round victory here. Winterfox is going to have to force behind that afterwards. Let's see what they decide to do, but it looks like they're going to barrel in towards the A bomb site and try to draw a rotation towards A, but they're playing for a retake, so this isn't going to work too well. They actually have pulled a rotation, actually, so no bomb plan. Oh, look at this. Jason R, he's reading the situation correctly. He comes back to B. They're actually rotating back over to B now, and there it is. Jason R is going to spot the first one, takes him down, spotting out another one, finds the bomb as well. Arya's doing work. Jason R with 3, Arya with 2. And barely any damage from the T side whatsoever, so Winterfox just gets shut down.
If I read that correctly for the round, then I'm pretty sure there was a total of 21 damage done to the entirety of Splyce.
Yeah.
11 done to one player and 10 done to another. So
Rip.
not a whole lot of impact made at all. And there's like no utility that they use at all to try to get themselves to the B bomb site. So the crossfire they have with a player up in heaven and one in CT main just wrecks everybody on Winterfox. And they have no choice now. They have to go for the all-in force. So Tech 9s and the PT50 for Flowsick is going to be what we have heading into the second round.
Yeah, so they're going to go all in. See what they can do here, but Most likely, it's probably not going to be a whole lot. You can see actually this player, Professor Chaos, he's got the MP9. He's playing the counter flash spot. His teammate is right around the corner, Jason R. He's going to be able to call out whether or not he sees any flashes or smokes coming in. There is a smoke on Flowsick for possibly CT spawn. There's a flash as well for the incursion into the B bomb site. But Professor Chaos in this forward position at pit with that MP9 should be able to just shred some domes as they come around the corner.
They're going to start to slowly push their way into it now. Professor Chaos actually a little bit sloppy with that one. Peeks out a little too late. So Desi's going to pick up the first kill onto him. Jason R grabs a 2-for-1 trade, but Flowsick is going to shut him down. They get access to the site. They should be able to find the plan here, but Abe jumping into the vent's going to start the retake early. Davies up in heaven. He's found 2 kills, and Arya is going to be able to clean things up there. Splyce losing a little bit of control. And actually, did they even get the plan at the end of that round?
Nope.
Nope,
Davey
they didn't even
denied
get the plan. Wow.
Yep,
That
they
sucks.
pushed in from CT really fast. It was actually, Davey wasn't up in heaven. It was Arya that was in heaven. Davey pushed around from CT and actually flanked out the bomb planter and got that guy down. So this is the last chance to dance here for Winterfox. They've got deagles, they've got armor, they've got really nothing else to work with. And this has kind of been the story of this matchup so far, is that they haven't had the economy to work with. So this one's pretty much as good as done. I'm not sure what the next match is going to be, but we are going to see Winterfox and Splyce play again on a different map.
Yeah, it'll be going over to Mirage after this, which, in all honesty, like I've said before, if Winterfox is doing this poorly on their CT side here on Cash, I can only worry about how things are going to go over on Mirage. However, things may not be done just as of yet here. Arya, however, trying to put it back into his control to be a 1-for-1 trade. And a 2 versus 2 to try and close things out. But Jason R could catch the bomb right here. He's chasing Desi, brings it on at 22 HP, dropping down, but he's hugging the wall, so he gets away just barely. And escaping onto the site. They'll be smoking that back off. But almost ended the game right there just by cutting Desi off towards Highway. But now a 2 versus 2, and with Desi already being heavily lit, it's going to be very, very tough for the Cheese to hold this site now.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Professor Chaos being the X factor in this. The squeaky door is closed, but he's going to have a little bit of an element of surprise coming in through here. So he's going to pop the door. He's going to peek in towards A main. He's got no coverage from behind, but they're going to spot Flowsick. The spray is a little bit off target, but Jason R is going to be able to finish him off. The last man standing over here by quad, and they've got to know that this player is going to be over here. It's Desi. Oh my god, is he going to even peek? Oh, Lord. Oh, insult to injury.
All right.
That's just going to be it.
That's it. There's not a whole lot else to add there. Winterfox need to take a moment here to recenter themselves, because going into Mirage, if the performance is going to be that poor on Cash, like I was just saying, Mirage is more than likely going to end up being even worse. And what's a bit pitiful is that Mirage, usually for the CT side at least, is often a pretty good map for Winterfox. So if they're not up to snuff here and they're not going to be able to steal that second map, then their record's going to start off abysmally for the Pro League season, as I think this is their first game. But I believe, guys, we are going to be going to a short break between now and the next game. So stick around, and we'll be right back with map number 2 here between the guys on Splyce and Winterfox.
G2A.com